options. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Training. Unit ready.
Ready.
Training.
Waiting. Right away,
Unit
sir.
ready. Training.
Reporting.
Unit
Roger.
ready.
Awaiting order. You got it.
Training. Unit
Yes.
ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Right away, sir.
Training.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. You got it.
Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Roger. Affirmative.
Training. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Ready and right away, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Reporting. You got it.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Building. Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Reporting. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Engineering. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Waiting right away, sir. Reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Waiting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Vehicle reporting.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Waiting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit ready. Construction complete. Building.
Affirmative. Affirmating orders.
On hold. Cancel. Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Waiting orders. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Vehicle acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledge.
New construction options. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Waiting orders.
Construction complete. Building.
Waiting orders. Acknowledge.
On hold. Cancel. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Yes. Acknowledge. Reporting. Acknowledge.
Base under attack.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Construction complete. Cannot build. New construction options.
Waiting
Building.
order. Acknowledge.
Training.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Yes. Affirmative. Vehicle affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit ready. Construction complete.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
Building.
Negative. Vehicle acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Yes, sir. In my ring. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting orders.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Waiting orders. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Reporting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Construction
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Waiting order. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Base under
Affirmative.
attack.
Reporting.
Enemy
Affirmative.
lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Reporting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Waiting order.
Unit
Acknowledge.
lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Building.
Waiting order. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Yes, Edmonton. Engineering. Edmonton. Vehicle reporting. Wait. Affirmative. Affirmative.
lost.
Wait, acknowledge. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Wait, acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Building.
Affirmative. Reporting.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit lost.
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Command review. Building. Unit ready. Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Building. Structure sold.
Waiting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building. Training. Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Project building set. On. Training.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting. Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledge. Waiting. Acknowledge.
Insufficient funds.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Waiting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Waiting. Report. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
On hold. Track. Building. Structure
Yes, Reporting orders. Affirmative.
Structure sold.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting.
Training.
Reporting. Acknowledge. Reporting.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Vehicle acknowledge. Acknowledge. Engineering this reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Reporting. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Vehicle acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Waiting order. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Base under attack.
Reporting. Waiting order. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Engineer.
New construction options. Structure sold. Building.
Waiting. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Waiting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Vehicle reporting. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Got it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. You got it. Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. Got it. Reporting. Affirmative. Engineering. Vehicle reporting.
Building.
Waiting order. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Construction complete.
Vehicle report. Right away, sir. Affirmative. Got it.
Unit
Yes,
ready.
you got it. Vehicle report. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Roger. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Primary building set. Building cancelled. Ion cannon ready. Structure sold. Structure sold.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Not a problem. Vehicle reporting. You got it. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Roger. Yes, sir.
Sold.
Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle. Right away, sir. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirm. Waiting order. Yes, sir. You got it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting order. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Got it. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Roger. Roger. Right away, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Roger. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Waiting to acknowledge.
Base under attack.
Reporting. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Waiting order. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. 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 Knowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Knowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Report. Roger. Affirmative. Vehicle
New
reporting.
construction. Building.
Vehicle acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle acknowledged. Acknowledged. Reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Reporting. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Construction
Vehicle
complete.
reporting. Acknowledged.
Base under
Negative.
attack. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Knowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Waiting orders. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Awaiting orders. Yes, affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Building on hold. Cancelled. Building.
Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting orders. Acknowledged. Roger. Reporting. Acknowledged. 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 Yes, sir. Reporting. Reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Report. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Select target.
Reporting. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle reported. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Negative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Waiting on knowledge. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Knowledge. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative. Knowledge. Affirmative. Knowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Knowledge. 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 Affirmative. Knowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Knowledge. Knowledge.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Knowledge. Affirmative. 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 Knowledge. Knowledge. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit lost. Building. Unit lost.
Affirmative. Knowledge. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Knowledge. Knowledge.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost. Unit ready.
Knowledge. Knowledge. Affirmative. Knowledge.
Building.
Knowledge. Affirmative. Knowledge. Affirmative. 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 Knowledge. Affirmative. Knowledge. Knowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Knowledge.
Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir.
On hold. Cancelled.
Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. sir.
Unit ready. Structure sold. Building.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Waiting orders.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Ion cannon ready. Select target.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Report. Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting order. Waiting order. Waiting. Affirmative. 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 I'll hear you. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit lost.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit lost.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge.
Building.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. 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 Reporting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, vehicle reporting. Vehicle reporting. Waiting acknowledge.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Wait. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Wait. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
Building. Building.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Vehicle
ready.
acknowledge. Affirmative. Negative. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Wait. Acknowledge. Waiting order. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle report. Waiting order. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Affirmative. Vehicle acknowledge. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Vehicle. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
On hold. Cancel. Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Reporting.
accomplished.